Hello everyone and welcome to the best Thursday of 2024 because it's got playoff baseball, it has NFL, it even has a little bit of preseason basketball mixed in with some regular season hockey. We've got everything a sports fan could possibly want this time of year, and of course for fantasy football owners, we have fantasy football advice to get you ready for week 7 to hopefully put another win in the win column and move you ever closer to the fantasy football playoffs. Hello everyone and welcome into what should be a great episode of the Butt Fumble Sports Show. So excited to be with you across all of our platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and of course on Twitter X. It is awesome to be with you, live with everybody. It's going to be an awesome show. We're going to give out picks for the baseball. We're going to give out picks for the NFL. Every time we get live confetti or a TikTok subscriber, that will happen. Other than that, we're answering fantasy football questions for at least the next 90 minutes, everybody. So let's get at it. Appreciate you being with us. If you're new to the show, Butt Fumble Sports is a sports content company created by a sports fan for all you real sports fans at home. We use data, analytics, whatever we can get our hands on from a matchup data standpoint, quantitative analysis standpoint, to try to give out good advice. Beyond that, we just love talking sports with the rest of you. Make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, and let's get at it, everybody. Excited to be with you. Should I do Pollard, Myers, Ayuk for Devontae, JK, and Shakir? Really interesting question here. I think I'd go Pollard, Myers, and Ayuk because I like the Pollard and Ayuk side the most out of this one. I don't know if J.K. Dobbins is reliable enough. I actually think Tony Pollard might be more reliable over the back half of the season, and I still think I like Ayuk. Shakir, it's questionable who's going to have more value. Myers as a wide receiver 1 or Shakir as a wide receiver 3. R. Lopez, Broncos or Steelers? In terms of defense this week, I'm leaning towards the Broncos. No Chris Olave, no Rashid Shaheed. Really, they only have to stop Alvin Kamara. By the way, no Taysom Hill, so a lot of members of the Saints are out. I like the Broncos defense. Toby, start Chubb or Bucky. Nick Chubb is now being talked about as kind of limited in what you're going to see. He's not going to get as many carries, as many snaps. I still think he's probably a better play than Bucky Irving, believe it or not, because the Ravens are such a good run defense. But we need to monitor Chubb's status a little bit more in the coming days. JAD, don't spam the chat, bud. Don't spam the chat. Appreciate that. Oh, wow. Breaking news in college basketball. Tony Bennett is retiring. Breaking news in college basketball. UVA head coach is retiring. Shocking news. We'll talk about that a bit more over the course of the show. Wow. Big news in college basketball at a bad time for Virginia. I hope everything's okay. A. Stanley, James Conner, or Brian Thomas Jr.? I'm going to go Brian Thomas Jr., A. Stanley. Wingman, trade Najee and Wilson for T and Chase Brown. That's a great question. I don't like being overloaded on the Bengals offense, so I'll say no. I don't want to double up on that offense, though I do like Higgins and Brown. It's just, I don't want to be overloaded on Cincinnati. Xerxes, Laporta, or Kraft? I'd go Laporta. Austin James, start Bub Means. I'm kind of on the fence. It depends who else you have. J-Dub, start 2. Wilson, Debo, BTJ. I'd go BTJ. And then it's a coin flip for me between the two. Steelers' pass defense so far this season started to slip a little bit. I'll lean... Man, this is close. I'm going to lean Debo. J-Dubs, I'm going to lean Debo and BTJ. It's just how they use Debo, especially with no running back or a lack of a running game. Maybe they use Debo even more, so I feel like that extra usage. You think, targets come down for Wilson. You think usage could go up for Debo given the injuries. I'll go BTJ and Debo on that one. Rohan, Addison or Bub Means? Addison. Carter, Dobbs, Waddle, or Means? Great question. I'm leaning slightly, I think, towards Dobbs. I wish Waddle had a better quarterback, but I'm going to go Dobbs on that one. Bob Jeff Supreme, Mixon and MHJ for A.J. Brown. That's a great question. I'm leaning slightly towards yes, because I wouldn't be surprised if MHJ doesn't play as much on the back half of the season as people think. College football players, they don't play the 17-game schedule, and they usually start to wear down towards the final 6 weeks of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens there. I actually like the trade, Bob Jeff Supreme. I think A.J. Brown's best value is ahead of him. King Daddy, Tank Bigsby, or Brian Robinson Jr. Love them both. Wish you could start them both. I'll go Robinson Jr. if he's cleared to go, but they're playing at different times, so I know that becomes a trickier play. Shonk 13, trade Chuba Hubbard, CeeDee Lamb, and Kraft for Montgomery and Jefferson. Hell yeah, do that trade tomorrow. Do that trade yesterday, I should have said, as in it should already be done. Dre, which team do I like today? I'm waiting on some confetti or a TikTok subscriber. Maybe that'll be you for us to give out my first pick of the day. We've got a lot of picks coming, baseball picks, game picks, total plays, obviously some player prop bets, not just for baseball, but for the football game as well. So throw some confetti in the air, become a TikTok subscriber. If you don't want to do that, I do give away all of my picks for free on the SHARPZ app. It's like a bulletin board for sports betting. So DM me on Instagram. That way you can see every bet that I make every single day. Just DM me on Instagram if you want those. Totally for free, though. Y'all listen, meow. I'm leaning slightly towards Chase Brown just because the Jordan Mason injury status is concerning. Joel got offered London and Christian Kirk for Tyreek Hill. Really interesting. I'd rather have London and Kirk. I'll just say that. I'd rather have London and Kirk. Cheek, Torres and Quan, I love the two-leg parlay. I'm not taking Torres, but I'm not saying he can't get a hit. He's been fire in the postseason. Just got a new TikTok subscriber. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for joining us in the TikTok subscriber community. Jennifer's one of my favorites out there. Because of that, let's give out a bunch of picks right now. Want to give out a couple picks. First things first, Yankees and Guardians. I like this one going over 6.5. Yankees, Guardians, over 6.5. Next pick that I'm going to give out for this, in general, I am taking the Broncos on the money line. Broncos on the money line. I like them at the beginning of the week. I love them now. I took them early on because actually the trends were behind them. I like them even more because the injuries have really unfortunately, have gone against the Saints over the last few days. Denver Broncos on the money line, along with Yankees, Guardians over 6.5. Two picks that I'm giving out. I will give out a pick for this Yankees and Guardians game in just a little bit, so make sure you're throwing some confetti in the air. Until then, let's get back to your fantasy football questions, everyone. Fotana, start one. Likely Andrews or Ingram. That's a tough one for me. I'm going to lean slightly towards Andrews, believe it or not. Jennifer wants more picks. Jennifer gets what she wants. Okay, this is a really tricky one for me in terms of making a pick on the game. I'm going to take the Guardians at plus 1.5. I feel like the Yankees win. I'm not putting it up on the big board. I did put it into some of my bets, but I feel like the Guardians at least cover. They've got some good numbers against Clark Schmidt. Because of that, I actually want to mention two hitters. Andres Jimenez, over half a hit. Andres Jimenez, really good numbers against Clark Schmidt in his career, so that's one. I know it's small sample sizes, 9 at-bats, but he's hitting over 500 in those at-bats. So Andres Jimenez, over half a hit. And I like Jose Ramirez as well. I like him on over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I think he's broken through. If you want to take him on just over half a hit, I totally get it. But I think Jose Ramirez has broken through. Another player I think has broken through, Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge has really good numbers against Tyler Boyd. He hit lefties well all year. He actually hit lefties on the road, at times even better than at home. And I just feel good about right now. I think Aaron Judge kind of crossed the Rubicon, at least in terms of the slump. So I'm taking Aaron Judge over 1.5 hits, plus runs, plus RBIs. If you told me he hit a home run today, it wouldn't shock me. So those are all the picks that I have for that early game right now. Yankees, Guardians over 6.5. Guardians plus 1.5. If you told me the Yankees won, wouldn't be shocked. Andres Jimenez over half a hit. Jose Ramirez over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. And Aaron Judge over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. You got 24 minutes if you want to play those bets. If you want to see every bet that I make every single day, just DM me on Instagram, ButtFumbleSports. I give away my picks for free. I love researching sports data. That's what I love to do, but I don't think you should pay for it. I just love giving my picks away for free. You can follow them, you can fade them, entirely up to you. But if you want them for free every day, just DM me on Instagram. With that said, let's get back to your fantasy football questions because I know that's why so many of you are here. Daniel, start 2. I'd start Sutton and Juju. User 7373, thanks so much for subscribing. I'll throw another pick on the board because we got another subscriber. I really like Cortland Sutton over, I would say, at the 39.5, over 39.5 receiving yards. In a lot of places, that'll just be the 40-plus receiving yards. I love that play. Cortland Sutton to go and hit at least 40 receiving yards tonight. Very high on that one. Another one that I like, Alvin Kamara. I think he's going to go over 49.5 rushing yards. So I know that's not great value, but you can put it into a same-game parlay. That's another play that I like, Alvin Kamara. You guys keep wanting picks. I'll continue to give them out. Another pick that I like for tonight is Spencer Rattler. I'm going to take over half an interception. It's not that I don't think Spencer Rattler has talent. It's just that this is a better Broncos defense than I think people understand. Even with Patrick Surtain out, I think there's opportunities for an interception tonight, so I like that. I'll give out one more. Bo Nix over half a passing touchdown. Bo Nix over half a passing touchdown is another play that I like. We have a few more plays overall, but we can give those out in a little bit. Want to get to the fantasy football questions. Mark, starting Alvin Kamara with confidence with all the Saints injuries. With confidence, no, but I think you'll have a good enough night to be worth the start. John D., Bucky Irving, or Javonte Williams. The Saints' run defense so far this year has actually been very good. They've been bad against the pass. They've been better against the run. So I would just be a little bit cautious there. They struggled last game, obviously, but against Bijan, but I think they're better against the run than they are the pass. So it's a tricky one. I still lean towards Javonte, just barely. I don't mean to completely throw you off the scent. Bucky has the worst matchup, but I don't want you to get your hopes too high with Javonte Williams. David, how come I can't see you live on IG? Because I'm not on IG right now. 5-0 Danny, start Cade Otton or Hunter Henry. Man, really tough question because I like them both. If Drake May is healthy enough to go, I know he had the MRI yesterday. If he's a good go, I'd go Hunter Henry. I just think he gets used more in that Patriots offense. Patriots season, no issue. Patriots season, Amari Cooper, George Pickens, Schuster, or Christian Watson if Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't play. I lean towards Christian Watson. I think it's between Watson and Pickens. I think it's going to take Amari Cooper a little bit of time to get in. Juju Smith-Schuster, I'm not expecting a repeat of last week, even if he has a good game. I think Christian Watson, especially with Jaden Reed's health status, I think Christian Watson's the best play out of that group. Jesse, need help? I got you. Kupp, London, Godwin, Olave, Brian Thomas Jr., Addison at wide receiver. How many do I get to pick? I'd go Godwin, I'd go Brian Thomas Jr., I'd go Addison as my first 3. That's where I probably come out on that one. CT, pick 2. CT, I'm leaning slightly, I think, towards Higgins and towards Smith, only because I'm worried about Reed's health status. If Reed is good to go, CT, if Reed's a good go, I'd probably go Reed and Higgins, just barely. But there's a little bit of caution there just because Joe Burrow has not played particularly well in Cleveland against the Browns. More fantasy football questions over on TikTok. It's Eric. Tyreek Hill or Jahmyr Gibbs. Really tough for me, but I don't trust Tyler Huntley enough. I'm going to go Gibbs. It should be a great matchup statistically, but I don't trust it. I think Gibbs in the passing game is probably a better play. If you told me he got a receiving touchdown, it wouldn't shock me. X1XA, hey man, would you start Amari Cooper or Brandon Ayuk? I'd go Brandon Ayuk. I really respect that Tennessee Titans pass defense. Pena, I'd go Mayfield. Mayfield over Allen. Roman, time to drop Murray, have Cousins. I wouldn't drop him, but I would play Cousins this week. User 7737, Zach Moss or Bucky Irving. Man, I don't feel good about either one this week. I probably lean towards Moss just barely, but I don't feel good about it. Landon, JSN or Mooney. I'm leaning Mooney maybe just barely because I trust maybe Kirk Cousins more than Geno Smith, but I feel like that's a bit of a coin flip. I'm going to go Mooney just barely. Hitta, Kirk, or Ayuk. I'm going Christian Kirk. Patriots pass defense has been pretty poor this year, and especially if Kirk isn't the one that Christian Gonzalez goes up against, I really like him as a play. Dave W. Adams for Achan and Pollard. It's a really interesting idea. I probably lean towards yes, but Achane can't seem to stay on the field. Shank 13, Jordan Mason or Sermon. Is either one a good own this week? If Jordan Mason's healthy enough to go, it's Jordan Mason, but I'm concerned about his health status, so I guess it's Sermon, rather. But Shank 13, I'd go the waiver wire. I don't think you have your starting starting running back right now. Joe Modelos, start Kamara and Gibbs, flex J.K. Dobbins and Tank Bigsby. I'd flip that. I'd go Gibbs and Dobbins. I think I'd go Gibbs and Dobbins, and then I'd play Tank. Do I like Kamara enough? Do I like Kamara enough against the Denver Broncos run defense? That's the real question here. And the answer is Denver is a top 12 run defense. Man, it's close. If you want to start Kamara over Gibbs, that's fine, but I would start Dobbins and Tank Bigsby. I think both of them need to play. Dobbins and Tank Bigsby both need to play. Appreciate the confetti being thrown up in the air. Let's get another pick up on the board for everybody. I've got another Bo Nix pick. I like Bo Nix to go over 174.5 passing yards. For him to reach 175 passing yards, that's where I come out. I think Bo Nix has a good game through the air. Man. So I've got Bo Nix throwing at least one touchdown. I've got Bo Nix throwing for 175 yards or more. Spencer Rattler throwing an interception. Alvin Kamara reaching 50 rushing yards or more. Cortland Sutton reaching 40 receiving yards or more. But I do have the Denver Broncos winning tonight. Benicio, Gibbs, or Achane. I'm already starting Dobbins. Well, Achane, I'm concerned about his health status. If he doesn't play, obviously, it's an easy one with Gibbs. If he's cleared to go, I'd go Achane just barely. If Harrison doesn't play, asks 204, do you start Downs or Amari Cooper? I don't like either one, to be honest with you. I probably lean towards Downs just barely. Luis Martinez, Sam Darnold, or Brock Purdy? Great question. Both should have good games, but I'm going to go Sam Darnold, Luis Martinez. Gosha, start 3, Devontae Adams, London, Neighbors, Reed. I think this may be answered for you because I think Reed may be questionable, may be limited, and may be out. So if that's the case, you just don't play him. If he does play, I'm probably leaning towards sitting Devontae Adams, but I think I like Adams, London, and Neighbors as my 3 in that group. Diego, Bo Nix over 24.5 or 25.5 rushing yards. Not a bet that I'm making. I think it's totally possible. I just didn't see enough data behind it for me to like it. Saints have been pretty good as a run defense prior to last week. They've been pretty good about stopping opposing running quarterbacks. So I'm not crazy about it. Fernando, BTJ or Reed? I lean BTJ at the moment, especially with Reed's health status. Jack, I traded London and Reed for Mixon, Pittman, and Dobbs. My RB1 is Dobbins, and my wide receivers are Neighbors and Tay. Okay, I understand the trade. I think I would have rather owned London and Reed, but I understand why you did it. I'm just not crazy about it. Sean, McBride, Kittle, or Garrett Wilson, start 2? That's a great question. I think I'd go Kittle and Wilson. I like McBride. The problem is, I think with no Marvin Harrison Jr., the Chargers are going to try and take away McBride that much more. Kittle and Wilson feel like better plays to me, just barely. But Sean, do I feel great about it? I don't. I think it is a bit of a bind right there. Eli, Godwin, or Jamar Chase? I'd go Godwin. I think Chris Godwin's actually the better play just based on the matchup against the Ravens pass defense. Don Julio, thanks so much for subscribing. Let's get some more picks up on the board for everybody to say thank you for subscribing. Next pick that I'm going to put up on the board is going to be for the Dodgers and the Mets game. Dodgers and Mets. I think that game is going under. I'm going to take Dodgers, Mets. I know the total isn't what I'm about to say. I like buying an alternative total. I'm taking Dodgers and Mets under 8.5. Dodgers and Mets under 8.5. So Yankees, Guardians over 6.5. Dodgers, Mets under 8.5. That's where I'm coming out on this one. Don't know where the offense is going to come in this game. Kind of a feel out in the dark game. I just don't see where the offense is coming. Both starting pitchers, not a lot of history for the lineups against them. So Dodgers, Mets, I'm going to take the under 8.5 on that one. Raggedy Pancakes, pick 3. I would go Tank Dell, I'd go A.J. Brown, and I'm leaning towards Debo a little bit over Kupp, but it's very, very close. If Kupp is cleared, I might feel differently on Sunday morning, but for the moment, the Dell, Brown, and Debo are who I'm putting in the lineup, at least for the moment. Then, Pollard and Brian Robinson Jr. are two of my favorite running backs this week. I'll probably say Brian Robinson Jr. Thanks, Brock Ford. Great to see you for another month. Van, I probably lean towards Brian Robinson Jr. just barely because I feel so good about him finding the end zone. But frankly, I try to find a way to get both in my lineup. Los Aviation, I'm 3-3, traded Hubbard and Higgins for Nico. Thanks, Cook. Appreciate you. Just got JT back from IR. Hubbard was on my bench. Hubbard's just been valuable. So you got one player off your IR to acquire another player that you could put on IR. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense to me. It's not quite the move that I want to make. Wow, Shaheed out for the season. Rashid Shaheed out for the season. Breaking news in the NFL. Rashid Shaheed not just out this week, but out for the season. Tough break for the Saints. Bad news for them as they start their Thursday. Adam Rodriguez, do I like Demario Douglas this week? Pop Douglas, very, very much. FGI Doug, start 2. FGI Doug, I'm leaning towards Mooney. I'd love for it to be Nick Chubb, but it's not. It's Tracy Jr. I'm going to go Mooney and Tracy Jr. just barely, and the reason for that is there are rumors that Nick Chubb isn't going to get as many snaps and as many carries as if he were a full RB1 because he's on kind of a snap count. I just can't trust it enough. I like Mooney and Tracy Jr. based on what I saw last week, even with Singletary coming back. Jack, Douglas or Juju? I'd go Douglas. I'd go Douglas. JT, Bubber, Douglas. I'd go Douglas on that one. Big Ainge, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Brian Thomas Jr. rest of season. I'm going to go out on a bold limb. I'm going to go and say Brian Thomas Jr. is going to have better stats rest of season. I think that has more to do with Marvin Harrison Jr.'s availability than anything else. D. Farland, I'd go Robinson. D. Farland, I'd go Robinson. Drew, over on YouTube, which side would you choose? Bijan, JSN, Bucky for Pollard or Jacobs? I'd go with the Pollard and Jacobs side, believe it or not. I think that's actually a better own. The only reason I say it is because Bucky all of a sudden in a bit of a doubt. JSN, I love his value. Bijan, I love his value. But I think Pollard and Jacobs could be top tier RB1s come playoff time. Aiden Thompson, start 2. It would be BTJ and Deontay Johnson. I'll go back on this one. Aiden Thompson, I think it's BTJ and Deontay Johnson just barely over London, but it's super close. I'm kind of flipping between London and Johnson back and forth, but BTJ's definitely in there. John, start 3. John, I would go with Bigsby and I'd go with JT. I'd go Bigsby and JT on that one. That's where I come out on it. I know Mostert would be a great play. If he's cleared to go and it's a Mostert, I try to find a way to make him my third. So Bigsby, JT, Mostert would be the third. Mason, Eckler or Chase Brown? If Brian Robinson Jr. doesn't play, definitely Eckler. But if it's not him, I probably lean towards Chase Brown just barely. Javier, I'd go Cade. Aiden, Mahomes or Geno? I'm going to lean towards Mahomes, believe it or not, just barely. I think I'm leaning Mahomes. The pass defense for the Atlanta Falcons so far this season has been top 10, so I'm going to just lean towards Mahomes. Cook, Neighbors or Evans? If Neighbors plays, Evans. Seabass M, pick 2. I'd go Debo, and I'm leaning slightly towards Myers. I think just barely. Very, very close on this one. With the New York Giants going up against the Eagles, I know the pass defense is bad, but I think Myers may still have opportunities against the Rams, and he's clear-cut wide receiver 1 there now that Devontae's gone. Tyler Ola, flex Metcalf, Reed, Amari Cooper, or Jacobs. I lean towards Jacobs just barely over Reed because of Reed's health status, but it's close. Globo Jose, I would start Douglas. Out of that group. Appreciate the love and support. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. We have another hour to go on the show. So baseball is just getting started. If you're doing the 2-screen experience, awesome to have you with us. If you're watching the show, we're going to answer a lot of fantasy football questions over the next hour. Brent, start 2 running backs. I'd go Chuba Hubbard and Tracy Jr., I think. Jared Bova, I'd go Kirk Cousins. Randall, I'd go Hunter Henry. Brock Ford, sit 1. If Chubb is truly limited snap count, I think Chubb's probably the odd man out. I wish I could play him. His matchup's great, but they're giving me reason to doubt him. Sam, I'd go Douglas. Venom, start 3. I'll go Metcalf, Hill, and Adams. By the way, you have a murderer's row of wide receivers on that team. Owen, trade Kincaid and Pittman for Bowers. I wouldn't do it. I think you're giving up a little bit too much value. Ryan, start 2. I would start... Ryan, I'd start Jacoby Myers and Worthy. I'll start Jacoby Myers and Worthy just barely. Mason, I'd go Tank Dell. Jesus, Kirk or May. Man, I really want to say Drake May, but it's gonna be Kirk Cousins. Jesus, I'm going Kirk Cousins. Colton, Dobbs or Pittman. I'd go Dobbs just barely. Ethan, Debo for James Conner. Wouldn't make that deal, actually, believe it or not. ZB, everyone take a minute break, please. I need my friend's help. ZB, okay. I got you, bud. Sal, Dobbs or Douglas? I'd go Douglas on that one, Sal. I'd go Douglas on that because we know he's wide receiver 1 for the Patriots. Mr. Senju got offered James Conner and BTJ for Hall. Interesting idea, actually. I don't hate it because BTJ and Connor's value probably equals Hall at this point. I think it's a very fair trade. Aiden Thompson, pick 2. I'd go. Whew. Man, you've got 3 running backs I love. 4, really, if Achan's healthy. I'm going to go Brian Robinson Jr. and Pollard, just barely ahead of Chuba Hubbard. It's very, very close, though. John, would you pick up Gibson? I think he's an interesting pickup, but with Ramondre Stevenson coming back, if you've already got options at running back, I don't think he's a great play. Christian, Jones, a start at flex if healthy. I think so because of how they use him in the passing game. In the run game, I don't think he'll be successful, but if you told me he had a really good run-pass game, I wouldn't be surprised. User 5628, I'm leaning towards Mooney. User 5628, I lean Mooney for the week. D. Narsh, Darnold or Love? Great question. I kind of like Darnold a little bit more, but I think both games are a shootout. I just like the wide receivers of the Vikings more. I think I like their offensive line a little more at this point. Here's the issue for me. Darnold, I think, will throw for more points, for more yards, and probably more points. Love, he's been getting 2 passing touchdowns so consistently at this point. Love's been very safe. Let's put it this way. Love is probably the safer play. I lean Darnold, but I think Love is the safer play. Cruz, Sutton or Josh Downs? I'd go Sutton. Ayush, start Higgins or Debo this week. I'm leaning slightly, towards Debo, and the reason for that is because of the run game situation for the 49ers, they may use him in the backfield a little bit more. Jennifer, thanks so much for showing us love. Let's get to Don Julio's question. Goff or Murray? I'd go Goff. I'd definitely go Goff on this one. I'm leaning Andrews over Otten, believe it or not. Mr. Senju, Kirk or Judy? I'd go Christian Kirk. Extended mag, start LAR defense or the Eagles defense? I'm leaning slightly, towards the Rams defense. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants put up a few more points than people would expect. Cook, Murray, Richardson, or Cousins? I'd go Kirk Cousins, Kirk Cousins. User 6969, is Chubb a start this week? I'm hearing he's on a snap count. I'm hearing he's not going to get RB1 kind of status, so I'm a little bit nervous about it. I'm willing to take a chance on him if you have no other options as a flex play, but other than that, I'm a little concerned now. Quishine, I'd go O'Connell over Rattler. I just don't like the fact that Rattler has so few wide receivers to go to. Iman 18, I'd go Laporta over Kraft. Mason, I'd go Madison. Quiron Avery, pick 3. I'd go Kupp, Adams, and T. Higgins. I think, on that one, just barely. Zachary Marquez, Kirk, Kyler, or Sam? Man, very, very close. I lean towards Sam Darnold. I know a lot of people are saying Kirk Cousins would probably be the one there. I'm leaning towards, again, who's the safer play? Kirk Cousins. Who am I taking this week? It's Sam Darnold. I think he's going to have a big week. Extended mag, start 1 for the flex. I'm leaning towards McBride on that one. McBride. Drew, you didn't put the players, bud. I can't see who you're talking about. Sal, Douglas over Dobbs. Sal, Douglas over Dobbs. Austin James. I'm leaning slightly on this one. I'm leaning towards Wan'Dale Robinson for some reason. I mean, you got all those brand names. I just don't trust Pittman against Jalen Ramsey. Ayuk and Wan'Dale, I think it's going to be close between the two of them in terms of overall points. Danny Z, between Andrews and Hunter Henry, I'm actually leaning Hunter Henry just barely. Very, very close, though. I think those could be two of the top 4 tight ends this week. Christian Silva, Indy defense against Miami, Denver versus the Saints, Denver versus the Saints. Drew L, start 1 in a full PPR. Wow, great question here. I think I'm leaning Douglas just barely over Addison. Drew L, Douglas over Addison barely. Appreciate the question. Appreciate you guys being so supportive of the channel. Julio V, Njoku or Andrews is a great question. I'm leaning slightly towards Andrews. I know a number of people who like Njoku as well. Again, I think both of them fall into the top 4 or 5 tight ends of the week, but I'm leaning Andrews, and the reason for that, Tampa Bay gives up a lot of passing yards. I think Andrews has worked his way back into that number 1 tight end role. Lamar Jackson's balling, and I think there are going to be a lot of points scored on Monday night. Pablo, Bigsby or Gibson? I got to go Bigsby on that one, Pablo. I'd go Bigsby. Mr. Senju, Sam Darnold. Mr. Senju, Sam Darnold. Hi, I'm Toby. Trade Amon-Ra and Ladd for Devontae and Deontay? No, I'd rather have Amon-Ra and Ladd. Jacob, thanks so much for resubscribing. Great to have you back as a member of our subscriber community. Mitch, start McBride or Ladd at the flex this week. Believe it or not, it's going to be Ladd McConkey for me. And I lean towards Goff just barely over May. It has to do with the weapons, and it really has to do with the offensive line. The offensive line of the Lions is maybe the best in the NFL. The offensive line of the Patriots may be the worst in the NFL. So I'm going to go Ladd McConkey and Goff, Mitch. Allen, how do we feel about Juwan Johnson? His value goes up. I'm not crazy about him compared to some of the other tight ends out there, but if you're really desperate for a tight end, Juwan Johnson does have value just because all the wide receiver injuries, no Taysom Hill. Juwan Johnson is probably good. Look out for player prop bets. I actually hadn't thought about this one. Alan, great call. Juwan Johnson receiving yards player prop bet could be a good one. I could see him going for 30, 40, maybe even 50 yards tonight, so a very good call there. Eric, Geno or Kyler? I'm going to go Geno. If MHJ is out, I don't really like Kyler as much. I'm going to go Geno. Michaela, Broncos or Bills defense? I'm going to go Bills defense because we've all seen Will Levis play football, and he just gives up so many interceptions. Aiden, pick 1 for the flex half PPR. I'm leaning slightly, I think, towards Chuba Hubbard. It's close, Aiden, between him and BTJ. It's all a function of who does Christian Gonzalez cover, Kirk or BTJ? That's what has me leaning Hubbard, maybe just barely. Wingman, pick 1, start Eckler, Jacobs, or Najee if JT is out. Wow, it's tough. I lean slightly towards Najee. The run defense of the Jets has just been bad. I lean towards Najee, barely over Jacobs. It's super close. If Brian Robinson Jr. is completely out, Eckler then jumps. These are 3 running backs that are in kind of a precarious situation in terms of who has the most value. I just like Najee's matchup, and he's really playing well. You guys know I'm not a huge Najee Harris fan. I usually knock him. He's playing the best football of his career from what I've seen. Search and kill, I'd go Mark Andrews. Search and kill, I'd go Mark Andrews over Auden. Some crazy handles that come across my screen sometimes. BTJ over Means. BTJ over Means to the person asking that question. Jacob, Knicks or Stroud? Gotta go CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud should have a massive week this week. Michaela Petro, if JT is out, I lean towards Sermon, but I think JT might play, so I'm holding out hope. Jared Bova, Dobbins. Jared Bova, I lean Dobbins. Great matchup this week for Dobbins. Romeo, I'd go Najee, and I'm leaning towards Leggett, believe it or not. Romeo, I'm leaning Najee and Leggett just barely over Juju. Baseball game is underway. We will mention some things that happen in the baseball game, but we're going to spend most of our time talking fantasy football. So if I reference anything in the baseball game, please forgive me. It's just on in the background. Don Julio, is Nick Chubb worth starting, or should I start Bucky? I would probably start Chubb over Bucky Irving, even if he's on a limited snap count. Devin, I'd go Juju over Bub Means. Juju over Bub Means. Mr. Senju, flex. Bateman, Parkinson, Slayton, I'd go Bateman. Mr. Senju, I'd go Bateman. Quiron Avery, if May is cleared and good to go, it would be Drake May for me. That would be the starter. Gannon Grant, JMO or Ayuk, Jamison Williams, Gannon. Breezy, how do you feel about this trade? JK and Higgins for Bijan. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I think it's kind of a fair trade, but I'm banking on the fact that the Falcons use Bijan correctly, which is always a giant risk. So I'm kind of uneasy about it, to be fair. Temya Lima, BTJ, Dell, or Addison. 3 wide receivers I love this week. I'm leaning slightly towards Dell. I'm coming off my BTJ love maybe just a little bit because I'm getting the vibe that Gonzalez is going to cover him more. But I like Tank Dell a lot this week. So Dell just ahead of BTJ, but very close. Venom, I'd go Sutton over Worthy and Juju. Venom, I'd go Sutton over Worthy and Juju. Jason, 10-man full PPR. Hurts, St. Brown, Metcalf, Kyron Williams, Breece Hall, Hawkinson, Higgins, and Achane. Thoughts? Make sure you have a replacement in place if Achane is out for this week with injury. Adam Rodriguez, I'd go Pop Douglas. Adam Rodriguez, I'd go Demario Douglas. Monique, Purdy and Goff, like them both, but I'm going to go Goff. Monique, I'm going to go Goff just barely. Mason, thoughts on Jonathan Brooks' rest of season? I can't quite look into the crystal ball enough, but I'm really excited by his speed, what he can bring. Yes, it's going to bring down Chuba Hubbard's value a little bit, but a two-headed monster for the Carolina Panthers all of a sudden opens up things in that passing game and in the run game. So I'm kind of excited to see him play, to be honest. Dobbins or Chuba Hubbard? I wish you could start them both. Love them both this week. Dobbins and Chuba Hubbard. I'm probably leaning towards Dobbins just barely, but it's close. Between Goddard and Kraft, I'd go Kraft. Ricardo Sanchez, drooping Dak, who's a better QB, who's a better option. May, Dalton, or Nix. I'd go Drake May. Godfather, if he, problem is Nix plays tonight, May plays on Monday. It's a little tricky. Godfather, 11:31. Goddard or Kraft? It's Kraft. Oh, we're getting some controversy over here about the clock because they called a strike on Juan Soto. Cook, thanks so much for throwing some marvelous confetti in the air. Daniel Sanchez, someone is offering me Garrett Wilson for Jaden Reed. My wide receivers, honestly, I kind of like the deal. I think Garrett Wilson is probably going to outscore Jaden Reed rest of season. I actually like the deal. Xander Simmons, start Pollard and Kyron, flex Montgomery. Thoughts? Love it. Aiden Thompson, trade Chuba Hubbard and Amari Cooper for either Montgomery or CeeDee Lamb. I would trade Amari for CeeDee Lamb if someone's willing to do that. I'd probably trade Hubbard and Amari Cooper for CeeDee Lamb because I think the value's ahead of him this season. Bryce, start 2. I would start Bigsby, and I would start, I'd probably start Singletary. If Chubb were a full go, I would lean towards Chubb, but I'm a little nervous there. By the way, Juan Soto, what a snag! Great sliding catch, out-recorded. Great play by the Guardians. Oh, you think Hawk coming back this week? I think so, and I think he's going to have a good week. User 2838, Chase Brown, AJ Brown, and Taylor for Barkley, DK, and JMO. I love the trade. I think it's a very fair trade. Well done by you and the other owner involved. Mr. Senju, is Breece Hall for Connor and Diggs fair? Yes, I think it's a fair trade. Juan, Bub Means, Pitts, Moss, Waddle for the flex. It's Pitts, believe it or not. I think Pitts is the best play out of that group. Ace, trade Deontay for Amari. I like the deal season long. I don't like it for this week. This week, Deontay Johnson's going to outperform Amari Cooper. Rest of season, I think Amari Cooper probably is the better own. Brian, pick 2. Johnson, McLaurin would be the 2, just barely ahead of Madison. Deontay Johnson and McLaurin are the 2, just barely ahead of Madison. 2 crosses, I'd go Mooney. 2 crosses, I'd go Mooney. Adam Leslie, I don't know. You're throwing random names at me. Honestly, I don't know. Frenzy Fantasy, trade Bijan and DK for Jamar Chase and James Conner? No. Frenzy Fantasy, Freezy Fantasy? No. Freezy Fantasy, I would not do that. J Smells, trade Adams for Montgomery? Yes, I would do that deal actually. Daniel Sanchez, rest of season, I would say JT. Daniel Sanchez, rest of season, JT. Eod, AJ for Brian Robinson and Diggs. I love the deal. If I'm getting the Robinson and Diggs side, I actually really like this deal. Bryce, I'm worried about Jordan Mason's health status. Wow, what a shit at bat by Judge. I bet on him too, so I'm definitely judging him. Bryce, I would start Singletary over Mason just because I'm worried about Mason's health status. Halur, Bo Nix, or Anthony Richardson in a super flex. I like your Mahomes pick. I'm probably leaning slightly towards Bo Nix, believe it or not. Richardson, he's going up against a pretty good pass defense. I lean Bo Nix just barely. Virtual run challenge, I'd go Douglas. Rest of season, if Drake May's the quarterback, I'd say Douglas rest of season. Will M, Fields, Bucky, Tolbert for Dobbins. Who wins? I think the Fields, Bucky, and Tolbert side, just because there's more opportunity for one of those to be a lottery ticket win. Adam Leslie, Broncos White. Yeah, I know you're trying to throw crazy names at me, Adam. I wouldn't go for any of them. I would look for other options in fantasy. Zane traded Etienne and Pickens for Jacobs. I love that deal because I think Etienne's value is plummeted. Travel with Nick. Start Seattle or 49ers defense. Wow. I don't like either one of them. I think they're both going to give up points. But I'll say 49ers defense just barely because I think maybe they get a few sacks. But I think both are going to have a tough Sunday. Dermot, Debo, or Pop Douglas. I'm leaning slightly towards Demario Douglas if Drake May plays. Bryce, trade Bigsby for Keenan Allen. No, I'd keep Tank Bigsby right now. Benicio, I'd start Njoku over McBride. Njoku over McBride just barely. It's my username. Pick one. I'd go Bigsby. Oh, it's my username. Between Bigsby and Douglas, that's close. I probably lean Bigsby because I just know he's going to get more carries than Pop Douglas will get targets and catches, but very close between the two. Wish you could start both. Big Mike, Jones or Connor. Don't like either one. Terrible matchups. Jones also questionable. I probably lean Connor at the moment, but Big Mike, if Aaron Jones is a full go, maybe I change my position on Sunday, but for the moment, I got to put James Conner at least in. Josh, Worthy, Ayuk, Lockett. Great question. I'm leaning Ayuk. I'm going to lean Ayuk just barely. Oh, flex one, Worthy, Kirk, or Shakir. I'd go Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk is the one I'd go with. Danny Diaz, Achan, or Chase Brown. I'm worried about Achan's health, so it's probably Chase Brown. If Achan's cleared to go and a full go, I like Achan more, but I'm worried about it. Hayden, Saints or Rams defense. I'm leaning Rams defense, believe it or not. Sean, start two, Montgomery, Kareem Hunt, Bijan, Taylor if healthy, Chuba Hubbard. For this one, I'd go JT and Chuba Hubbard. JT and Chuba Hubbard. I say that, and I want to check the Seahawks run defense. You know what? I'm going to switch that. It's Bijan and Chuba Hubbard. Sean, it's Bijan and Chuba Hubbard for me. I just don't feel good enough about JT's health. If JT's cleared to go, I still think I go Bijan and Chuba Hubbard. I don't know if I'm trusting Jonathan Taylor enough. That's a tough one. I thought he would be cleared by now. Gibby, pick one for the flex. I'm going to go Brock. I think Montgomery gets a rushing touchdown. Gibby, I'll go Montgomery. It's a brutal matchup, terrible matchup, but I think he gets a rushing touchdown. I was leaning Bowers in my head, but I just couldn't go against Montgomery because I think he gets you that rushing touchdown. Dylan Hinson, Pollard. Dylan Hinson, I'd go Pollard. I think I like the Pollard, Gibbs, and Conklin side, believe it or not, because I like the two RB1s in that. Jax Olsen, I'd go Brian Thomas Jr. Jax Olsen, Brian Thomas Jr. Search and kill, I'd go Drake May. Search and kill, I'd go Drake May. Temulima, I'd go Jacobs. Temulima, I'd go Josh Jacobs. Appreciate all those being with us. We're going to take some callers here in a little bit, so make sure you're lining up on the phone lines as a guest. Tony, I'd go Tank Dell. Tony, I'd go Tank Dell or Tank Bigsby. Whichever Tank it is, I'd go Tank over Hunt. Brandon, I'd go Darnold over Murray. Brandon, I'd go Darnold over Murray. A-Day. Man, that's tough. A-Day, I'm going to go Higgins just because I trust him a little bit more with the quarterback. It's a question of the quarterback. I'd go Joe Burrow, and thus I'd go Higgins. So one shot, two kills, Rodgers or Drake May. If Drake May's clear to go, I think it's Drake May for me. Cook, Bengals or Saints defense. I would say Bengals. Bengals defense. Bradley, Eagle. Out of all those defenses, I'm leaning towards the Chargers. Bradley, I'm leaning towards the Chargers. Bob with the Shaheed news. Should I flex Lazard or Bub Means? I think Bub Means probably. Randall, flex 1, Shakir, Downs, or Bucky. I'm leaning slightly towards Downs out of that group. Mr. Senju, Kincaid, Kraft, or Hawkinson if healthy. I lean Hawkinson if he's healthy. Hawkinson if he's healthy. Search, I'd go Montgomery. Search, I'd go Montgomery. Adriana, I'd go Tank over Eckler. Tank over Eckler. Tino Ack. I go Tank Bigsby. Tino Ack, I go Tank Bigsby. Appreciate the questions. Hope you're loving the show. Let's take a few callers here. Let's go to Aaron. Aaron's going to be our first caller of the day. Let's see what Aaron wants to talk about. Aaron, what's good?
I'm doing good. Hey, I have a question. Should I start the Commanders defense or the Indianapolis Colts defense?
The Commanders defense. The Commanders, because I think they're going to get sacks for you.
That's what I was going to do anyway, so.
Awesome. You have a good one, Aaron.
You too. Bye.
Let's get to another caller. We're moving through them fast. Let's go to Lenny Jr. Let's see what Lenny Jr. wants to talk about. Lenny, what's good?
Hey, what's up, brother? Hey, so I have some little issues. So I have my running backs. I have Tank, Cook, and Mason at the moment, but you know Cook and Mason were hurt, so I had Tank in there. So now that Cook looks healthy, you think I should put him in over Tank?
No, I think I like Tank a little bit more than James Cook. Close, but I think I like Tank a little bit more.
Okay, and now, I have another issue with the same team. So Evans is somewhat hurt, and I have Wilson from the Jets as well. I have Wilson and Evans. So
the problem is I really want to start Evans. I think if Evans is healthy, he's going to have a monster week, and I kind of want to run the risk because unless I hear something in the next 48 hours that really turns me off from playing him, Mike Evans is going to be in my lineup.
Okay, so then you would have Wilson over Cook still?
Give me one moment. Yeah, I'd go Wilson over Cook.
Okay, thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Have a good one. Good luck this weekend. Let's go to our next caller. It's going to be Jacob. Jacob is a subscriber. We appreciate that. Let's see what Jacob wants to talk about. Jacob, what's good?
Hey, man, I want to start Nix or Shroud this week.
CJ Stroud by a mile.
All right, thanks, man.
Have a great one, Jacob. Good luck with those kids in the background. Let's get to our next caller. Let's go to Hugo. Hugo's our next caller up on the line. Let's see what Hugo wants to talk about. Hugo, what's good?
What's going on, man?
How can we help you?
So I've got Josh Jacobs and Walker starting at running backs, and my flex, I'm thinking either A-Chain or J-Mo.
I would go J-Mo. Achan's health is concerning. Obviously, if he were like full go, no questionable status, I'd probably say him. But J-Mo's got a great matchup this week, and he's been cooking of late, so I lean towards him a little bit.
Okay, I thought the same. Thank you.
Awesome. You have a good week. Let's get to Yep. Let's see what Yep wants to talk about. Yep's our next caller on the line. You got a question, feel free to fire away in the chat. We'll get to more of those in just a moment. But Yep, what's good?
Hey, how you doing, man?
How can I help you?
Devontae Adams on the Jets now.
Yes.
Should I start him over Ayuk, you think, or?
Yes, I probably lean towards Devontae Adams over Ayuk. Normally, I don't love the matchup against the Steelers, but I do think that Aaron Rodgers is almost going to force feed him the ball, so I lean a little bit towards Adams more than Ayuk.
Yeah, I think Rodgers is going to be happy. Next thing, QB, Baker or Kirk Cousins?
Baker. Both are going to have monster weeks, but I got to go Baker. He's got such a great matchup against the Ravens' pass defense.
All right, defense, Eagles or Bills?
Bills.
Awesome, appreciate it.
Have a great one. Let's get to some of our written questions, then we'll get back to callers in just a moment. So if you're a caller, just hold on 1 second. Michael Duran, Brian, start Hubbard, bro. Not even close. Okay, you got help there. Brian, I'd go Hubbard, but that said, Madison's a great play this week, so don't overlook Madison's value. Hubbard is the play, but it's closer than you may think, Brian, so be aware of that. Kurt, I'd go Lockett, I think, just barely, because I get the sneaky suspicion that he could actually be a decent play this week. Frigid, trade Kyren Kyron, Mason, and Smitty for Amon-Ra, Cook, and Dowdle. Frigid, I would do the deal. Frigid, I would do the deal. Matthew Hardy, if Achan is out, I'd start Mostert. If Achan is out, Matthew, I'd start Mostert. Daniel Sanchez, Hubbard and Reed for Garrett Wilson and JT. I'd rather have the Wilson and JT side there. No problems about it. Let's get to a few more of our callers. Next up on the line is Real Tyler Kent. Real Tyler Kent's our next caller. Let's see what Real Tyler Kent wants to talk about. Tyler Kent, what's good?
What's going on, my friend? How are you?
Loving life. How can I help you?
What's your thoughts on, you just mentioned him actually right before you picked up my call, it was Raheem Mostert. Last year, stellar. He's tied with Christian McCaffrey with 21 total touchdowns.
Yeah.
So what's up with that? What do you think about this guy?
I actually think a couple of things happened. One, he is an older running back who has kind of had a late life in his career, which is a rarity in the NFL. And last year, I think the chemistry that, look, Mike McDaniel had him in the 49ers, and there was a little bit of love there, and he, was healthy. Achan went down. Everything went right. This season's the opposite of that. He just can't stay on the field. Age is clearly catching up to him. If Achan can't go, I do like him this week because it's a great matchup against the Colts, and maybe we do see a flashback to last year's kind of performance. But frankly, if you told me that he only had 2 or 3 more weeks of value for the rest of the season, I might even take the under on that. I just don't believe in him wholeheartedly for the rest of the year because I don't think he can stay healthy, and I think there are other mouths trying to get a bite of the apple, so to speak, in that backfield.
Right, and then one last thing, which I'm sure you're sick of hearing, is what's your strategy with Tyreek Hill right now? I'm seeing Tua coming back personally, but
Yep.
I'm curious what you're thinking.
So, obviously, I don't think Tua Tagovailoa should ever play a down of football again, personally. As a fantasy football guy, I'm like, oh, Tua's coming back. This is going to be great for the value for Tyreek Hill and Waddle. So clearly I'm a terrible person. We already knew that. But what I would say is just that. I think if you look statistically, and I know there are people on social media who have done this. I don't put out this kind of content, but I know it's out there. If you look at the stats, when anybody else is quarterback for the Dolphins versus Tua, Tyreek Hill literally goes from Clark Kent to Superman. His numbers are off the charts with Tua, and I'm just going to trust the data. The one thing I will say is it's quantitative analysis for me or nothing. So if Tua's back, I believe Tyreek Hill goes back to being a top 10 wide receiver because everything historically has shown me that's the case.
Right. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it as always. You have a great one. Let's get to our next caller. We'll go to Patty Boy. Let's see what Patty Boy wants to talk about. Patty's next up on the caller line over on TikTok. Patty, what's good?
Hey man, so I have a question about my flex spot. I got 3 guys. I'm in a 2 flex league competing for the last flex. I got JSN, I got Demario Douglas, and then Michael Pittman.
I'd go Demario Douglas for sure. And then give me the other 2 options one more time.
Njigba and then Pittman.
I'm going to go JSN. I just feel like there are going to be a bit more points scored in that Atlanta Seahawks game. I think it's got a high total. I'm just getting a better vibe on that one just barely. So I feel JSN just barely. I know Pittman's the wide receiver 1, and I know he performs better with Anthony Richardson than Joe Flacco. But Dolphins are a really good pass defense. That's what's kind of holding me back. So I would sit Pittman out of that group.
And then would you go JSN over Jacoby?
Man, it's tight. It's close.
I got 4 guys that are all very similar.
I just don't want to invest in Aiden O'Connell. And for some people I know I've said play Jacoby, and that's because their matchups kind of indicated that's the way to go. But if I can avoid it, Aiden O'Connell falls on that list of quarterbacks I don't want my players catching a pass from. So I would say, sit Jacoby Myers.
All right, that's perfect. Love it. Thank you, man.
Have a good one, Patty Boy. We'll talk again soon. Let's go to MK. MK is going to be our next caller. Sorry, I can never get this handle right, MK. What's good?
You're all good. It spells Mkhitaryan, but MK works as well.
I appreciate you being so understanding. Make sure you stay on the app or otherwise you mute yourself, okay?
No worries, no worries. I got a couple questions. So for tight end, I have Ferguson on bye this week, and I have Hawkinson coming off a major injury, or Kate Otten.
Okay, I love Hawkinson if he's a full go. If you hear from Kevin O'Connell that Hawkinson, like, it's ready to go, all fires, and, you know, all systems go. I love him. But because there's some risk there, Cade Otton's probably the safe play. So, because Cade Otton plays on Monday night, you have some time to really play this out, and you can really, you know, pay attention to the injury report. But I think Cade Otton is probably who you're going to end up playing, just because I don't think Hawkinson's going to be given that, like, everything's good with him. Like, he's 100%. I don't think they're going to say that, so.
Yeah, I'm worried about him getting like 20 to 30% of the snaps this week.
That's exactly right. I'm afraid they're going to ease him in. It's a great matchup for him, though, and that's what has me like, oh, I really want to play him.
Definitely. Do you think I should start Broncos D without Patrick Surtain tonight, or go with the Jets D?
Man, I have literally had this same question throughout the day in one of my leagues. It's really close for me. I'm going to say go with the Broncos defense just barely. I don't feel great about that, but it's like, who is Spencer Rattler, a rookie, making his second NFL start throwing the football to? If I told you that scenario, that a rookie was making his second start, that his number 1 wide receiver and 2 wide receiver were just put, were out, and by the way, and Taysom Hill was out, you'd probably go, oh, that dude is not going to get a lot of fantasy points tonight. And that's kind of where I'm coming out, is the Broncos just have such a favorable matchup. And I think probably the Steelers have just enough weapons for me to not like them. The Jets haven't been lights out defensively. I think I probably am projecting too much of last year's defense onto what they are now. So I'm going to say Broncos just barely.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I was leaning them as well. And then last question, I got James Conner, Brian Robinson Jr., and Tank Bigsby. Which one out of those? Well, pick 2, I guess.
Brian Robinson Jr. and Tank Bigsby. And thanks for letting me pick 2, because I really wanted to pick those 2.
Okay, perfect. Appreciate you. Oh, one last thing. Should I start Adams over Diggs for my flex? I'm kind of stacked at wide receiver. It's a tough choice.
No, I'd go Diggs this week.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking to trade Debo and one of those two. So, because Debo's my wide receiver 5.
I got you.
That running back situation.
I'm going to get to some other callers. Appreciate the call, bud.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Let's get to Tem. Tem's going to be our next caller up on the line. One of our loyal subscribers. Tem, what's good?
How's it going?
How you doing?
Good. I got one of those must-win kind of matchups this week. A lot of trash talking. I have the Chargers defense right now.
Yeah.
Should I get Commanders or Dolphins instead?
I wouldn't go Dolphins. It's between the Commanders, it's tough. I just think the Commanders give up a few more points than I want. I know they'll get sacks. Chargers are a top 10 defense statistically in both the run and the pass game. And I don't think we're giving the Chargers enough respect. Now, I know they played some bad opponents, so maybe those stats are a little inflated. But especially if Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't play for the Cardinals, why wouldn't I take a top 10 defense going up against a team that doesn't have its wide receiver 1? So I'm going to go Chargers on this one just barely.
Okay, I got you. And then for my 2 receivers, I think I've asked you this already, but BTJ, Addison, Hill, and Dell.
And I keep going back and forth between BTJ and Dell. It's super close for me. I think it's a coin flip. I think I'm going BTJ. I could talk myself into Dell. It depends on what my mood is when you ask me. I think for the moment I'm leaning BTJ, but if you hang on the line long enough, I'll convince myself that it's Dell. I'm flipping between those 2. It's so close.
I got you. Okay. And then one more. Would you start Drake May over Purdy? I know he has a good matchup, but
I'm going to say no. And it's because the offensive line difference between Patriots and the 49ers, the weapons that the 49ers have versus the Patriots. I know that the Patriots are playing the worst pass defense in the NFL in the Jaguars, but frankly, if the 49ers are going to have any success against the Chiefs, they're going to have to throw the ball. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm going to take Purdy just barely over May. Do I feel great about that? No. But actually a big difference for me is the MRI that May had the other day. Does he play the full game? It got put in the back of my head, and that's part of the reason I'm going Purdy.
Okay. And then, so I have Hunter Henry starting, but I'm considering Kraft a little bit.
I'd still go Hunter Henry.
Okay, gotcha. All right, that'll be it for me, man.
All right, be good, Tim. Let's get to our next caller. Let's go to Remy. Let's see what Remy wants to talk about. Remy's our next caller up on the line. Remy, what's good?
Hi, thank you for having me. So 2 questions. Do I start Ayuk or Devontae Adams this week?
I'm leaning slightly towards Devontae. I don't love the matchup, but I know that McDuffie is a great corner for the Chiefs, and so Ayuk's going to have a tough matchup. And also, I think Rodgers is going to kind of force the ball to Devontae Adams, which will be good for you. So I'm going to lean slightly towards Adams.
All right, thank you. And then one last question. What would your advice be for a league that doesn't do trades?
It's funny you mentioned that. I was thinking about that. I'm in a league right now where like no one does a trade because no one trusts anybody else. If you want to start getting trades going, just offer good trades. I know that sounds crazy, but like I think what often happens is you get early in a league history, you get 1 or 2 trades that everyone then mocks all time, and they're like, that was such a stupid trade. And then everyone doesn't want to trade anymore because they don't want to be the guy who made a stupid deal or the person who, gave away the store for no reason. So just offer a good trade and see what happens. And once you get the conversation going, you'll be amazed how people go, oh, those 2 guys just made a trade? All right, maybe I need to make a trade. So be the first one to make an actual legit good offer, and you'll be surprised what happens from there.
All right, thank you. Because, so, I have on my bench DeAndre Swift, Ayuk, and Jordan Mason. I'm trying to, pair those guys for someone. Who do you think I should go after?
Yeah, I don't answer open-ended questions because there's a lot that goes into that. What I would say is look at some teams that could use those kinds of positions or use that kind of depth and just go from there. That's what I would say.
All right, thank you.
Have a good one. Let's get to our next caller on the line. Let's go to Ricky. Let's see what Ricky wants to talk about. Ricky, what's good? Ricky, what's up?
How you doing?
How you living?
Pretty good, man. So I'm gonna keep this quick. I gotta figure out who I should start in 2 of my leagues, real quick. So I need 2 wide receivers, a running back, and a flex, and one of them, it's McLaurin, Tyreek, Marvin Harrison Jr., Pickens, Cook, and Chuba. Is that 2 men?
McLaurin and Chuba for sure. McLaurin and Chuba for sure. I think Tyreek Hill sneaks in there because I don't love your other options. And then give me who's left after I have those 3.
So there's Cook, James Cook, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Pickens.
See, the reason I'm not saying Marvin Harrison Jr. is I'm afraid he's going to be out. So if Marvin Harrison Jr. plays, I would say he's the other one. Otherwise, I lean towards Cook.
All right, cool. And then for the other league, I need a wide receiver and a flex. And I have Devontae Smith, David Montgomery, Brian Robinson Jr., which I don't know if he's going to play or not, and then Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers is a must start this week. Must start. And I love Brian Robinson Jr. if he plays. Those would be the 2.
And if he doesn't, then like Monty?
Yeah.
Smith.
Wait, Monty or who's the other option?
Devontae Smith.
Yeah, I'd probably go Montgomery.
Okay, cool. And actually, my friend just sent me a trade. Tell me what you think about it. I don't really like it first glance, but he just said he wants my Javonte Williams for his Jerry Jeudy.
No, I don't want anything to do with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, man.
Be good, Ricky. Have a good one. Let's get to our next caller up on the line. Let's go to John Murray. John dropped on us. John, if you want to join, hit me back up. Let's go to Brock Hopkins. Brock Hopkins is going to be our next caller up on the line. Let's see what Brock wants to talk about. Brock, what's good?
All right, so I have 3 running backs, and I don't really know what to do. I'm definitely going to start Bijan Robinson, but Montgomery and Josh Jacobs, I'm having a tough time picking between those 2.
Yeah, I'm going to lean Josh Jacobs just barely. Very, very close, but I'm going to lean Jacobs.
Okay, and then I got another question.
Sure.
Would you rather put CMC in if he comes back or keep Kareem Hunt in?
If Christian McCaffrey comes back, Christian McCaffrey is going to be in my lineup.
All right, that's it.
Have a good one, man. Appreciate the call. Let's get to John. John, we tried once before. Let's try again. Let's see what John wants to talk about. John, what's good?
Hey, how's it going?
Love and life. How can I help you?
I have CJ Stroud and AR-15, and AR-15's
CJ Stroud by a mile.
Okay. And then I just picked up Leggett, and then I have Josh Downs and...
You're off TikTok, so you're muting yourself. I can't hear you when you're not on TikTok.
Oh, okay. So I have McConkey, Leggett, and Downs for.
I'd go McConkey. I'd go McConkey just barely. McConkey would be the play for me.
Awesome. Thank you, my man.
All right, man. Appreciate the call. Hope you have a good one.
Yep.
Man, bad play by the Yankees. Let's go to our next caller up on the line. It's going to be Caleb. Caleb's our next caller. Caleb, what's good?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome. Okay, so I have a question I'm pretty sure I know the answer to, but my running backs this week I have Kyron and James Conner, and then the flex this week I have Brees in there. Is Conner a must start? Like on my bench, the only options I would have would be Michael Wilson and Keenan Allen.
Well, Keenan Allen, I believe, is on a bye week, so I don't think I want to play him.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
So I think by default you're going James Conner. Yeah, I think you answered your own question there. Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer, Caleb. You're all good, buddy. Good luck out there. Let's go to CJ. CJ is going to be our next caller up on the line. Let's see what CJ wants to talk about. CJ, what's good?
Dude, how you been?
Loving life. Couldn't be better. How you doing?
I'm good. All right, so first question. Looks like Jonathan Taylor's probably going to miss another game. So
is that what they're saying? Because I was so hoping that he would play this week.
He hasn't practiced yet. He still isn't practicing.
All right.
So I don't know. Maybe he will. But if he doesn't, that opens up my flex. Would you rather put in Waddle, Quentin Johnston, Juju Smith-Schuster, Raheem Mostert, or I could drop Mostert for Alexander Madison, if that's a better play?
I think Alexander Madison's a really good play out of that group, but there's still someone I like more. Give me the list one more time.
It was Waddle, Juju, and Quentin Johnston.
I think Quentin Johnston could be a sneaky good play this week. I kind of like him as a sneaky play. I'm putting it out there. I think Madison's probably safer. Rams suck against the run. Madison getting a rushing touchdown would make a lot of sense. But Quentin Johnston is kind of like, I know the boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be Quentin Johnston. So, I mean, I think I'd go Quentin Johnston.
Okay, cool. And then another quick question.
Sure.
I don't know if you remember a few weeks ago I talked about Deebo Samuel and your thoughts on him. And then he got injured through all those good games that you wanted me to keep him.
Yeah.
And now he's coming off a really good game. What do you think rest of the season, man? I kind of just want to ride it out with him.
I kind of do too. And a couple of reasons for that. One is the backfield of the 49ers has gotten just crazier and crazier. And I think Deebo gets more usage with fewer running back options. That's just a hunch. But given how they use him as that dynamic piece, I feel like that could increase his value. I also think the 49ers just haven't played their best football. All season, they've kind of been waiting to play their best football, and it's still ahead of them. And I think Deebo has a lot to do with that. So, yeah, you drafted him, you own him, you might as well ride it out with him. I'm kind of going down with that ship right now.
All right, cool. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
I appreciate you, CJ. Thanks for watching the show.
Yep.
Let's get to our next caller. It's going to be Wild West 44 is our next caller up on the line. Wild West, what's good?
Hey, what's going on, man? Appreciate your time. Just trying to figure out my lineup this week. I think I got my receiver set. I got Drake London. I got Jamar Chase. Trying to figure out my running backs because I got Jordan Mason, Jonathan Taylor. I think I'm going to go ahead and start Brian Robertson from Washington.
Yep.
But trying to figure out essentially my two running backs. And I also have Jonathan Taylor. I also have Devontae Smith. Would that be a good flex option, or should I lean heavy running back?
Well, it sounds like you don't have as many options at running back as you'd like, because according at least to our last caller, Jonathan Taylor is unlikely to play. So that throws a wrench into things. Your other option, your first one, what was that again?
Oh, I have Montgomery, Jordan Mason.
See, Jordan Mason, he's dealing with injury. Montgomery, I like for an anytime touchdown. I don't love him in terms of overall value. I probably like Montgomery more than Devontae Smith. It's very, very close, though. I think Montgomery gets you a touchdown, and that's kind of what I'm banking on there.
Okay, so then Bigsby. What do you think about Bigsby from Jackson?
Love Tank Bigsby. Very high on him. Patriots have been struggling against running backs the last few weeks in fantasy, and with Etienne's injury, there's no doubt about it. Tank Bigsby's the number one guy there.
You're great, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Really appreciate it. You have a wonderful night.
You too.
Let's get to our next caller. It's going to be Chef Roy's Juice. Let's see what Chef Roy's cooking up today. Chef Roy, what's good?
Yo, what's up, my man?
How's life?
Things are good, man. How are you doing?
Oh, loving life. I'm watching sports and talking sports.
Love that. Love that. You watching the baseball game right now?
As we speak, on the big screen right in front of me.
Love that. You like the Yankees or the Guardians tonight?
It's interesting because if I don't love a money line side. If I had to take one, I'd probably take Yankees on the money line. But I feel like the Guardians cover, so I'm kind of split on it. I just like the over. I know that there have already been a bunch of runners on base that haven't scored, but I just feel like there's going to be an offense in this game. So I took the over 6.5, over 7.5 as well.
Yeah, these are best of 7, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see. It should be a good one. I like your call on the over. But I got some start-sit questions for you I wanted to run by.
Go for it.
Assuming Jonathan Taylor is out,
yep.
Who would you like as your running back? It goes Alvin Kamara, and then would you start Austin Eckler, Javonte Williams, or Jalen Warren? Warren's more of just a handcuff, so I don't really even consider him.
Yeah. Hit me with him one more time.
It's Eckler and Javonte Williams.
I'm going to go Eckler. Obviously, Brian Robinson Jr. most likely playing. If he doesn't, I love Eckler, but I still think he probably gets more opportunities. I just like the defense he's going up against. So I'm going to say Eckler.
All right, cool. And then flex, would you flex? I'm dealing with some injuries and some bye this week, so I'm having to get deep. Would you flex Jacoby Myers or Javonte Williams or Tucker Kraft?
Jacoby Myers, just barely.
All right. I got a couple other teams I gotta hit you with as well.
Sure.
So from a running back perspective, now this team's set. I don't even need to ask you about that one. Let me look at another one. Yeah, I heard you say Jonathan Taylor's most likely not going to play.
I mean, that's what someone just told me. We're all going to have to watch that one. So.
Yeah, that's just one we watch. Would you start Khalil Shakur or Terry McLaurin in the
Terry McLaurin by a mile. And
then would you start Justin Fields or Jalen Hurts, assuming Justin Fields gets the start versus the Jets?
I don't think he will, so I'm going Jalen Hurts.
Okay. And then Joe Mixon, you think he's going to be back?
Well, he played last week and he played well, so yeah, I think he's going to play. My concern is they just brought in Cam Akers, so clearly I think they're trying to not put as much on Joe Mixon, but I still think probably Joe Mixon. I don't love his matchup this week against the Packers. That's what I'll say.
That's fair. That's very fair. And then, yeah, I'm pretty good. I've been ready. I'm rocking and rolling. I'm leading my league in a couple of leagues here, thanks to your help and the community. You guys are the best.
I can't argue with you. I would say we are, but I gotta stay humble. So, no, it's not us. It's all you. So yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna shoot you a DM. My brother is running this fantasy game. My brother is Frank Michael Smith on socials. He is running a fantasy game where he's gonna do like a soul survivor thing, where you do like you pick the outcomes of the games live, like what would be the outcome of this first drive of the game, and you basically have a buy-in, and then you go down and basically it becomes one person left, kind of like that old game Trivia HQ. And he's looking for hosts to do it, and I threw your name in the ring, and he looked at some of your stuff and liked it. So I'm gonna try and set up a conversation with you guys to see how that goes.
Would love it. Thanks for hitting me up, and thanks for thinking of me.
Of course, man. You have a great day.
You too. Have a great night. Enjoy the football tonight, and of course, enjoy the baseball. Let's get to a few more questions here. Let's go to Ryan. Ryan's our next caller up on the line. Ryan, what's good?
What's up, Bud Fumble? just quick flex question for you, and then a few statements, if you don't mind.
Please, go ahead.
So for flex, Cooper Cup, huge question mark, obviously. He's just been sitting on my IR.
Yep.
If he plays, I plan on starting him, just, start my guy and ride it. But if not, how do you feel about Josh Downs with Richardson coming back or Cortland Sutton?
Cortland Sutton. I like him a whole lot more. Saints have been a bad pass defense. Bo Nix is starting to mature a little bit, and Cortland Sutton is definitely his go-to guy. So I like Sutton more.
Sure. All right, that makes total sense. And then just a few statements. I need to brag for a second, because you actually assisted me a few weeks ago. I made a trade. I sent Travis Etienne and Wicks 2 weeks ago away for Josh Jacobs and Amari Cooper. And I look like prime Brian Cashman right now. So you assisted on that a few weeks ago. I just need to give you some props and brag about myself, frankly. And then just my final two statements, let's go Yankees. And just huge shout out to you, man. I love your content. I've been watching you now for a few years. Love to see you growing, doing great. I'm on your live. I watch so many of your lives, so appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it.
Ryan, we are so grateful for the love. I'm not going to reiterate the Go Yankees because I'm not a Yankee fan, but I'm a baseball fan, so I'd love to see it. That said, that trade, I want to take credit for it, but you can't take credit for someone else being stupid. So as much as I want to take a bow and I want to take a curtain call, some people just wake up on the stupid side of the bed, and fortunately that was the other person in the league. So congratulations on that trade. Well done, and good luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Have a good one.
You as well. We'll talk again soon. Let's get to our next caller. Let's go to Javi. Javi's a subscriber. Great to have subscribers joining the show. Javi, what's good?
What up, man? How are you, brother? You look exhausted today, man.
Oh, I'm tired all the time, man. I never get sleep, but you know how it is.
Yeah, so I got,
By the way, thanks for that. That's what I needed. I needed someone being like, you look like shit. You look like you fucking got run over by a Mack truck. I mean, you are. That's what I needed at the end of my day.
No. So I've got Jaden Reed at my flex. I know he's questionable, and they're already saying he hasn't really done much in practice. So would you start Chuba over him or Mooney?
Chuba. I like them both. I like Chuba and Mooney, but I'm going to go Chuba just barely. I love the matchup.
And then two more lineup questions. I have Josh Allen and C.J. Stroud. Unfortunately, Allen is...
C.J. Stroud by a mile. C.J. Stroud by a mile.
Okay. And then lastly, oh my gosh, I can't look at my lineup because if I do, I'll leave it live.
Then go to it really quick, and I'll just fill for a quick moment so you can go check it.
Yeah, you're good.
So yeah, while Javi checks that, make sure you guys are DMing me on Instagram if you want every pick that I make every single day. So go ahead, Javi.
So Jordan Mason or Hunt?
Well, I'm worried about Jordan Mason's health status, so I'm going to lean Hunt just because I'm worried about Mason's health. So that's where I come out. It's not that I really am in favor of him. It's just you're giving me a bad option and a worse option. I'll go with the bad one.
I know, man. I hate. Dude, listen, I hate my RB room right now. It's terrible. So, yeah. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it, man. I hope you have a really good rest of your day, and I hope you get some much-needed rest, man.
Apparently, I need it, because apparently I look like shit. So thanks, Javi. Thanks for bringing some sunshine to my day. Let's get to our next caller. Let's go to WWE in public. Hopefully, it doesn't call out my lack of sleep. What's up? What's up, WWE?
What's good?
How can I help you?
So, I got Hubbard in my flex, but I have 3 on the bench that I can potentially start. It's either Downs, Pittman, or Judy.
Wow. I only want to play one of those Colts wide receivers. I'm not crazy about either one of them, but I'm going to go Pittman. So I would sit Downs out of that group.
Mm-hmm. And I made a trade.
Hmm?
I got James Cook for Cooper Cup.
Ooh. I don't know.
I got James Cook for a Cooper Cup.
Yeah, I know.
Because I potentially needed a running back.
If you needed a running back, I'm okay with it. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I think Kupp could have a really good back half of the year. I think if you need a running back, it's a fine deal, and if you have depth at wide receiver, but I wouldn't. If that weren't the case, I'd feel differently.
Is he playing this week, by the way?
Who's that? James Cook? Certainly hope so. Certainly hope so. Not sure yet though. Still waiting on word.
Still waiting on the word?
Yeah.
All right, bro. Get some rest.
Appreciate it, man. Everyone's calling out the lack of sleep. All right, appreciate you guys. All right, let's go to our next caller. Let's go to Ed. Let's see what Ed wants to talk about. Thanks, WWE. What's up, Ed?
What's going on, man? I'm back again. I got a couple questions. So, first and foremost, right? I'm 2-4. The punishment this year is shaving your head. Can't have that. I'm in a win now situation, and I traded away Marvin Harrison for Brian Thomas Jr. What are your thoughts on that, right quick?
I don't hate it. I don't love it from a brand name standpoint, but from an actual production standpoint, I wouldn't be surprised if you actually come away with a few more fantasy points from that deal.
Yeah. I couldn't wait it out, man.
I wish you could have asked for a second player, but it sounds like you're just not in a position to be asking for anything. So.
Yeah. No real negotiating power at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
And then second of all, I have two flex spots available, and I have Jameson Williams, Tank Dell, Aaron Jones, if he does go through with playing, and Dobbs. Who are the two that you would take?
Jameson Williams and Dell. Easy one for me, Jameson Williams and Dell.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Ed, good luck. Hopefully you're not shaving your head in a few months. Let's get to our next caller up on the line. Inaki? Not quite sure how to pronounce it, but they're coming on the show. Inaki, is that how I pronounce it?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, awesome. Nailed it. Okay. How can I help you?
I just got one question. So I got JJ, Amari Cooper, and Jacoby as my starters this week.
Yeah.
DJ Moore on bye. Jacoby hasn't hasn't practiced these past 2 days. And I just got offered Demario Douglas and Zach Moss for Jacoby.
Do it right away. Do it right now. Like right now.
Yeah.
Like this second.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, boss.
Be good. Good luck on that deal. Let's get to our next caller. Let's go to Two-Tone. Let's see what Two-Tone wants to talk about. Another one of our subscribers. Two-Tone, what's happening?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Loving life. How can I help you?
I got a couple questions. So,
Are you calling me from county? Like what are you getting?
Man, I'm driving right now.
All right, man. What's your question?
Dentist appointment. But anyways, do I start Pickens or Douglas?
Douglas.
Douglas?
Yep.
Okay. And one more question before I go. You think Amari Cooper is a star this week or not?
No, I don't like him this week. Rest of season, yes. This week, bad matchup.
What about Nick Chubb?
Nick Chubb's got a better matchup. He'll be on a snap count, though, which makes me a little bit nervous. But I actually think I like Chubb more than Amari Cooper, believe it or not.
All right, cool, brother. I appreciate you, man.
You have a good one. Good luck on that dentist appointment. Drive safe.
Yes, sir.
Let's get to our next caller. Next up on the line is going to be 666 Beast Mode. Let's see what the Beast Mode wants to talk about.
How you doing, sir?
What's happening? How can we help you?
I have my weekly debacle as far as receivers go, so I need your help with picking 3 of the 4.
Sure.
I have Godwin, Evans, Diggs, or Amari Cooper.
Godwin's, Evans, Diggs, or Amari Cooper. How many can I put in the lineup?
3.
It's an easy one, bud. It's an easy one. Give them to me one more time.
Both Tampa and Diggs.
You nailed it. You don't even need me, 666 Beast Mode. You nailed it.
I just don't have a lot of confidence in Evans, so I'm just, week to week, he just doesn't seem like to be the primary target like he has been in the past years, so that's why I'm a little leery with him.
I feel like his stats are still pretty solid. I know Godwin's been the more go-to guy the last few weeks. I think they both have big games this week, so I'm very high on the Bucs this week.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good luck this week. Rooting for you, 666. Let's get to our next caller. It's going to be Xerxes. Xerxes is the next caller up on the line. Xerxes, what's good?
What's up, man?
How can I help you?
All right, so for my flex, I got a couple options. I got Kareem Hunt, Josh Downs, and Devon Achane, and Xavier Worthy.
If Achan's healthy, he's the one. If he's not, give me the options one more time.
Besides Achane, it's Kareem Hunt, Xavier Worthy, and Josh Downs.
I'm going Worthy just barely. It's close, though.
Okay, and then last question. So my argument's pretty good. I got Saquon, Kenneth Walker, Kareem Hunt, Achane, and then I got Chubb on the IR spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of RB1s. I'm first in the league with 5-1. Do you think I should make some trades for more receiver depth? Or
No, only until after you see what Chubb has. After this week, if Chubb has got something going, then you're like, okay, I'm willing to move on from him or not move on from him. But until then, let's just wait. Everyone always thinks they've got enough running back talent until they need a running back, and then they go, damn, I really wish I hadn't given up my running backs. So I'm always cautious. By the way, it's only week 7. I know we feel like so much football has been played and the season's moving so quickly. We got a lot of football to go. A lot of injuries can still happen. So, let's just make sure we're not giving away talented running backs, okay? Let's just hold on for now.
Gotcha. Last thing with the defense. So I got the Eagles defense against the Giants, and Neighbors is clear to play, so I saw that just now.
Yeah, I'm not as crazy about the Eagles this week. They just haven't been playing good football, and I feel like the Giants can sneaky put up points when you least expect it.
Yeah, and then my other option is the Rams against the Raiders.
Yeah, I'd go Rams. I don't know why, but I go Rams. I just feel like the Raiders are just a mess. So.
Yeah, I thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Have a good one, Xerxes. Good luck this week.
You too.
Let's get our next caller on the line, DJ Khaled Asparagus. DJ Khaled Asparagus, so you know how his piss is smelling. What's good, DJ?
Hey, how's it going?
How you loving? Oh, I got the talk back, so now I gotta hear my own joke. Oh, I don't want the talk back, DJ Khaled. Try us again. Try us on a better line. Let's go to Randall. Let's see what Randall wants to talk about. Randall's our next caller up on the phone line.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Real quick, Guardians, 2-run homer, 2-1 Guardians. We're looking good for our over. Anyways, back to Randall. Randall, what's good?
I just need help with my flex. I got 4 guys to pick from: Pickens, Downs, Shakir, and Bucky.
Yikes.
I know.
Okay, so Bucky, no. Khalil Shakir, no. So then it's between Pickens and who? Josh Downs?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. It's kind of a dumpster fire. This week.
I'm going to say Pickens. I don't like it because he's going up against Sauce Gardner. But Russell Wilson is throwing for his frickin' job. He's throwing for his career. And Pickens is his number 1 guy, and we know how Russell Wilson is about his number 1 guy. He throws it to him even when he shouldn't. So I'm going to say Russell Wilson with very little data behind it, but that's what I'm doing.
One more quick one in my other league.
Yep.
I have 1 to flex, so I have 2 running backs and 1 flex, and I have really good running back room. I got JT if he's healthy this week, Kenneth Walker, Chuba Hubbard, and who's my 4th? And you mind if I go check really fast?
Yeah, go for it. I love Walker and Chuba Hubbard. Just for everyone out there, Walker and Chuba Hubbard, 2 running backs that I'm very, very high on this week. The Atlanta Falcons' run defense is bottom 10. Obviously, the Washington Commanders aren't too far behind them. So 2 running backs I like. Go ahead, Randall.
So it's Pollard, Walker, JT.
3 running backs I freaking love. 3 running backs I love this week. I would start all 3.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Randall, you be good. Good luck.
You too.
Let's get to our next caller. He's a subscriber. He's also a Dodgers fan. So let's see what he wants to talk about. Diego, what's good?
What's good? I got a couple questions.
All right.
So for my flex, I have Garrett Wilson and Brian Thomas Jr.
I'd go Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas. You don't think Gonzalez will guard him?
I think he will, but the Patriots' pass defense has been so bad that will Gonzalez cover him all game? I hope not. And when he doesn't, I think BTJ will capitalize.
Okay. And then if Achan is ruled out, is Chase Brown a good start?
Well, what other options do I have?
Jordan Mason.
I guess I'm going Chase Brown. You got 2 running backs that I'm worried about their health. I go Chase Brown.
Okay. And then in my other league, I have a couple running backs on bye. I have Kamara today, and I'm thinking about picking one up off waivers. It's between Madison, Bigsby, and
Tank Bigsby.
Tank Bigsby?
Yep.
Oh, and Gibson. Sorry, Gibson.
Tank Bigsby.
Bigsby? All right. All right, buddy. Thank
All
you.
right.
Go Dodgers.
He says that. I won't say that. I know I got my bets out there. If you guys want to see every bet that I make every single day, DM me on Instagram. All of my bets are free every single day. So just DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports, to give away all of my picks for free. I've actually got to go. I've got a date in about 45, 50 minutes. So your boy got to go because I clearly look like shit and look tired. So I got to go get myself ready to go. I will catch you guys later tonight, maybe. Maybe subscriber-only show, maybe not. But you know where you're going to find me? 4:30 tomorrow right here. 4:30 on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. So make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you're with us for a Friday episode of the Butt Fumble Sports Show. 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. Can't wait to see all of you guys there. I hope you stay healthy. I hope you stay safe. I hope you have the best freaking Thursday of your life. Thursday night football, 2 MLB playoff games, NHL hockey. Could life get any better than this? The answer is no. Enjoy it. Have a great night. I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye, everybody.